Triple M Grill Team.
There's a terrible situation going on in Nigeria as we speak with the terrorist group Boko Haram. On April 14th, guys, they abducted 276 schoolgirls who are incidentally still missing. Now, Boko Haram have massacred an entire village with a death toll between 150 and 300, including 14 police officers in the local police station. They shouted Allah Akbar, which is God is great, as they used grenades and homemade bombs to attack a busy marketplace at 1:30 p.m. Many people who tried to take cover in shops were burnt alive. Now, I haven't really heard much of this Boko Haram outfit. Matty, you know much about them?
Oh, they came into prominence, or they sort of reared their ugly heads in about 2002. Their wish is for Nigeria to become an Islamist state ruled by Sharia law. Now, Boko Haram basically loosely means in English, Western education is a sin, and in particular, they don't want women educated. And to punish them, they're going around into schools, kidnapping, raping the young girls, enslaving them. Look, they firmly believe in religious violence. There's no doubt about that. And they recruit child soldiers to fight for the cause as well. And that they are a representative, basically, where Africa is at the moment, MG, and the fact that a number of years ago, well, it still is a great threat, the HIV virus, but the biggest threat, I think, to Africa at the moment is religious conflict. And, it's a great shame because Nigeria was the great hope of Africa, and these guys are trying to send it backwards.
Well, now I believe that the US and Britain are sending in some assistance, but to find out a lot more on what's happening to bring us up to speed is CNN correspondent Isha Sesay, who is in Nigeria as we speak. Welcome, Isha, to the Grill Team. How are you?
I'm good, guys. I'm good. Good to be with you.
Thank you very much. What is the latest on the ground?
Well, it's this thing happened April 14th. It's been over 3 weeks, and the Nigerian government, by all accounts, had a very slow and a slow reaction, which some have described as inept and lacking in urgency. And the Nigerian government only came out this past Sunday and said they have no idea where these girls are. For a lot of people, the fact that there's a ramping up of international assistance from the UK, from the US, from the French, from the Chinese, that are all coming in to help with intelligence gathering, intelligence sharing, reconnaissance and surveillance. The hope is that this is going to be the turning point in the search and rescue mission, which, as I say, this thing's been going on for some 3 weeks now. And you can imagine parents are absolutely desperate, to have their children taken. This is their worst nightmare. Every day is a nightmare, especially when you get the leader of Boko Haram putting out a tape saying he's going to sell these girls. He's going to sell them in a market for humans. That's what he said in a tape released a couple of days ago. So for the families, this is a nightmare. And adding to that, the fact that they tell CNN that basically when this thing went down 3 weeks ago, they didn't see any mass mobilization of troops in their area, that the government wasn't there for them when they needed them. That's what local families are telling CNN.
It's quite incredible, the story. Have you caught up with any of the sources from America? Now the Americans involved, everyone thinks now it's going to be okay. It's been a few days. Have they got any leads at all?
Well, let's put it this way. The Americans are sending in a team of 7 from the U.S. Africa Command. They land in Nigeria tomorrow. Okay. They're going to join a team that's already on the ground. I mean, nobody's expecting, kind of Marines and, kind of rappelling down buildings, that kind of thing. I think this is very much a case of sharing information, as I said, about surveillance and really trying to look at where they're at and, really try and get a handle on where these people are operating. The thing I want, your listeners to understand is that Boko Haram is operating in a part of the country that's very, very remote. It's very inhospitable. There's a big forest in that area, which is where they thought they took the girls initially. It's called the Sambisa Forest, which borders between Nigeria and Cameroon. We're talking about terrain these guys know really, really well and know how to hide in and amongst that terrain. And the borders in that area really porous. They can slip in, they can slip out. So they really need that international assistance to really scrutinize that terrain and get a handle of things.
Isha, the whole continent of Africa, it just appears like it's out of control. We've seen abductions in Somalia. The Central African Republic is just absolutely lawless. I mean, where's this all going?
Well, there are success stories as well. You can point to places like Rwanda, which has overcome its horrific genocide in 1994, and now has, a growth rate of something like 7%, and has become this tech hub, in South Africa. You can talk about countries like Malawi. I mean, there are success stories. I think we want to be careful that we don't lump all of Africa together, but there are also places where there are some serious issues going on right now. And I think what all of these places show, when you look at Al-Shabaab operating in Somalia, when you look at Boko Haram in Nigeria, when you look at Central African Republic, where there's this kind of religious violence, I think what we all have to be aware of is that groups like these, they're no longer confined to their own individual borders. We all should take note, because now it's international. Groups are transnational. You can be sitting in Australia, I'm sitting in the US or the UK, and these groups, because of the internet and social media, they can have a bigger reach. They can connect with other groups. So yeah, it's a big concern, because you have these hot spots across the continent, and the worry is that they'll spread even further and really will destabilize the continent. There's this narrative out there, Africa is rising. Africa is the fastest growing continent in terms of its economy. Western, sub-Saharan Africa is like the biggest sub-region. So the economies are doing well, but these pockets of problems could really destabilize that. And we all need to take note, because it couldn't just destabilize Africa. It could go much further and come home to places like Australia or the US or the UK, because, terrorism is no longer just a national thing, it's international.
Isha, before we let you go, how long have you been in Nigeria for now?
I got here last Thursday, and CNN is totally committed to this story. And, as you can imagine, these are girls that could be girls anywhere in the world. They were going to school, trying to better themselves, and really trying to, fulfill their hopes and dreams. So this is a story we feel really strongly about, and, I feel strongly about. So I'm here for a while.
Good for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, good on you, Isha. Really appreciate your time this morning.
No worries. Take care, guys.
You
Thanks
too.
so much, Isha Sesay from CNN in Nigeria.
The Triple M Grill Team.